Hey, the Brothers-In-Flaw Sports. I'm your host, Normie, and my other host, we got Cunyato. So how you doing, Cunyato?
I'm doing okay today, Normie. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good because I recently got a new hat in the mail, and I kind of want to show it off in the stream. So let me see if I can find this hat. Is that, let's see, is this the hat? That's not it. Hold on. Ah, this one, is that it? I'm not, no, that's not the one. Come on. This next one has got to be it. No, 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 no.
It's not the one, huh?
This is not the one. Is this it? No. Second and 26, by the way. Here we go. This is the one. I think you can see it with the light on. There we go. That's a little better.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's in the gold.
It's nice and gold, just as a crown should be, I suppose.
Yep. I was like, I'm only missing one actually. I don't know. I don't think I ever got a 15 one. But
that's a lot of hats. That's a lot of hats to have. It's really embarrassment of riches that the Alabama fans live in these days.
Well, actually, this 2009 one, this has been by far my favorite one. This is my third one. I have two others that are like brown because I wore them so much.
That's a sharp hat. I think that's my favorite aesthetically, but I can obviously understand why the one you have currently donned on your head is the favorite for now.
For now. Alrighty, but today we're going to talk about the NFL Conference Championship review and kind of a light preview of the Super Bowl. We don't want to go in too big because it is not until a little over a week or about a week and a half.
Yeah, a week and a half now.
So don't want to go into it deep just yet. So all right, first game starting off, Bucs at Packers. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, the Packers, I think they're tragically misrepresented as far as how much talent they have and how good they are sometimes, but they just don't win the big ones. It's kind of my knock on Aaron Rodgers. He's only got the one Super Bowl, but talent-wise, he's probably the second best quarterback I've ever seen with my own eyes, like in my lifetime. Just talent-wise, all the tools that he brings to the table. That being said, in the Packers, a knock on them, all prop to the Buccaneers. The fact that they can win that game with Tom Brady throwing 3 interceptions is insane. And they're going to be – I'm really looking forward to this Super Bowl. I know we're not going to go into it too heavy today, but it's going to be a hell of a matchup. What were your big takeaways?
Well, mainly stat-wise, we look at, Brady went 20 for 36, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. Well, like you said, 3 interceptions. So he really didn't play that well. I mean, it was even just 280 yards. The 3 interceptions was a pretty good, number. But the 3 interceptions, But then Rodgers, he went 33 for 48, 3 interceptions and 1 interception. Or 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brady was helped out a little bit by his rushing, but not as much as the past couple games because they had 76 yards, but 20 yards of that was on a Leonard Fournette run for a touchdown. So, I mean, mainly it's 56 yards if you take that out. Let's see. Tampa Bay was able to stop the run for the Packers. I did see that. Let's see. What was the...
Yeah, they held them to 67 total yards, and I mean, and it really Now, they only had 16 total carries for the Packers, and I thought that was weird. I mean, they were playing from behind a lot of the game. Tampa Bay got up pretty early and kind of – they didn't run away and hide with the lead, but they definitely milked it for the rest of the game. So I understand why the Packers put the ball in the air 48 times, which in today's NFL is a lot, but not absurd like it would have been. But, yeah, I mean, Jones only had 6 carries. And Aaron Jones only had 6 carries. Jamal Williams only had 7, and A.J. Dillon only had 3. So 16 total carries. That is a very pedestrian running attempt there. And I think that might have hurt the Packers, really, not establishing any kind of true run game. 27 for Jones, 23 yards for Williams, 17 for Dillon. I mean, it was a good equal distribution, but I feel like sometimes, especially to win the big ones, you need to kind of lean a little heavier and establish that dominance at the line with the run game.
Yeah. Well, didn't Aaron Jones go out hurt? I don't think he finished the game, did he?
Yeah, no, he got banged up. You're right.
Yeah. So that might have thrown a wrench into their plan. I think they were probably planning more of leaning heavily on Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. He's not Aaron Jones, and he's proven that the past couple of years. He had a chance to be their lead back, and Aaron Jones was there. RIP my fantasy football team that year. But
for a little while, that was supposed to be like kind of, or not what's supposed to be. It was a 2-headed monster kind of thing. But especially after this year, Jones is clearly the talent there. I mean, he's the rock star, and then Dillon and Williams are both very good. Dillon he's still very young. I mean, they're all pretty young, but Dillon might have a pretty impressive future ahead of him still. I don't know. But, yeah, Williams is more of a change of pace guy, in my opinion. He's not a rock star. He's a very, very good back, but he's not a superstar. Like Aaron Jones is a superstar. He is upper echelon.
Yeah, he's not going to be your feature back, and he's not going to be a feature back anywhere. But what did you I know Tampa Bay's also, they pressured Rodgers a lot. I mean, they got, I think it was 8 hits on Rodgers and 5 sacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Shaq Barrett might be the MVP for that game. And if it's not Shaq Barrett, it's Devin White, both defenders on Tampa Bay's defense. They got after that ass.
Yeah.
they were knifing through. And now, granted, the Packers were without Bakhtiari, their starting left tackle. That was fairly apparent. That showed up. But, yeah, that Tampa Bay defense can create a lot of havoc in the backfield. Once again, another reason why I think it might have been prudent for the Packers to run the ball a little bit more and try and take some of that pressure off of Brady. But when you fall behind like that, I mean, it's kind of picking your poison.
Yeah. So what did you think about the field goal? 2 minutes, 15 seconds left. 4th down on the 8-yard line. You have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You decide to kick the field goal.
Yeah, I was shocked. I mean, and LaFleur comes from the McVay coaching tree, which I'm actually doing an article on right now. And for whatever reason, and McVay's kind of the same way, in the big games, they get conservative, where everywhere else they're a lot more aggressive. And we've seen it with coaches all throughout history who have an aggressive mentality in all of their regular game prep and all of their regular season games. But then for whatever reason, sometimes Gus Malzahn in the 2013 National Championship comes to mind, just take the foot off the gas, play more conservatively, and it always seems to bite those guys in the ass. Like, the big one is not the time to sit back on your heels and let the other team dictate or have an opportunity. That's the time where you go for blood, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree. You're never going to be promised extra possessions, especially with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. I think they had all their timeouts, but still, you're giving the ball back to Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
who has been there before. He's done that. uh, I mean, had it been like 4 or 5 minutes left, I would say, okay, kick that field goal, get your points, and then hope your defense stops them. And then at like 4 or 5 minutes, you still got the 2-minute warning as well. If you have your timeouts, you got four times to stop the clock. But 2 minutes left, you gotta try it. You gotta,
yeah, I mean, and it's a one possession game.
yeah.
I mean, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion ties you up. Like, that's how close you are to tying it up. A field goal really doesn't do that much for you unless you just have that much faith that you get the ball back against Tom Brady in a championship game with 2 minutes left. That is not a position any team wants to be in. I don't care if he's 100 years old now. I mean, he's Tom Brady. Yeah. There's a reason why he's making it to his 10th Super Bowl. It baffled me, Sean, or Normie. I'm sorry.
But I was thinking, well, maybe they were having that big faith in their defense. I mean, their defense had 3 interceptions in that second half. Maybe they were thinking, okay, we can stop them, but I mean, it's Tom Brady and 2 minutes left. I just, you go for it. You get those points. I think them actually going for 2 early in that quarter kind of didn't help them either. I don't know why they even tried that one to begin with. The one, I think, didn't the guy drop it in the end zone? He had it and dropped it.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
But
I can't remember which one it was right now.
But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like Matt LaFleur, it was his first time. And like you said, he was trying to go conservative. And except for that 2-point conversion thing. And maybe he was scared because of that didn't work either. I don't know.
Well, I mean, at that point, the odds are in your favor, right? I mean, it kind of statistically has borne out over the years that 2-point conversions are right about a coin flip, like almost a 50-50 shot. Okay, well, you've already thrown away the one miss, so chances are, like, probability-wise, statistically, you're actually even more likely to get it. Yeah, you got to go for the points there, or the big points, not the 3 points.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That one kind of just baffles me. Because I remember just even watching it thinking, why are they lining up for it's 4th down? What are they doing? And
yeah, I think it baffled you and then also everybody else. And I'm pretty sure you could probably ask Matt LaFleur today, and he would say that it baffled him as well.
Oh, I don't know. From what I hear, he's sticking by it.
I mean, coaches have egos. That has been a proven fact. College football, all football coaches, college and professional, all of football coach in high school even have giant egos, and they do not back down from their original stance, at least publicly.
Yeah.
But I think maybe some of his drinking buddies, just having a couple beers at the house, they're like, "Are you sure about that one?" He's like, honestly, if I had to do it again, I think I'd do it differently.
Yeah. Because at least if you try it and you don't make it, it doesn't really give that appearance of you gave up.
Well, it doesn't really set you back because if you counted on your defense to get the ball back after you kick the field goal, it's just the one possession. So you can count on them to get the ball back from that position as well.
Yeah. And actually, they were going to be deeper. If you don't make it, they're deeper anyway.
Yeah, they
Field
have the worst
position
starting
wise.
field position wise. Yeah, it's pretty mind boggling.
But my biggest difference in this game, or the biggest takeaway, the to me the biggest thing was, so Tampa Bay got 2 turnovers, a fumble and an interception, and scored 14 points off of it. And Green Bay got three interceptions in the second half and only got 6 points off of it. I mean, and you got to put that on the offense, because the offense has been what's mainly carried them the entire year. And then your defense goes out there. The first one they picked, y'all got a touchdown off of, but the second and third one, you go out there, you don't send it down the field, and
that's really wild too, because Tom Brady is the GOAT, but Aaron Rodgers is no slouch, and the fact that he wasn't able to capitalize more off of that. I mean, the Packers' offense has been the most potent offense, at least in the NFC, for a lot of the year. I mean, early on, the Seahawks were unstoppable, but consistently watched through the 17 regular weeks, their offense was unstoppable, and Rodgers he's the favorite to win the MVP, and to not be able to capitalize on 3 picks or only one of the 3 to put up on, you just cannot do that against a guy as seasoned as Tom Brady. It's not a recipe for winning. And now they still kept it close. It's still a good game, but a lot of missed opportunities for the Packers. That they left a lot on the field. I come away thinking that the Buccaneers were a hands down better team. I came away thinking that the Packers left a lot on the field.
Yeah. No, and you got to think of, what does that have to do to that defense who, hey, we went out there and got you 2 picks and you didn't do anything with them. Now you want us to go stop them again to get the ball back to you.
Yep.
I mean, and especially in the pros, that's got to kind of weigh on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, really, do we really need to trust in you? Do we need to go out here and try and, maybe give up 5 or 10 yards and just try and strip the ball and return it ourselves? But honestly, just Tampa Bay's whole postseason. I mean, you got with the Saints, the way they capitalized on those turnovers as well, and that was a big factor in that game, because they started with a shorter field most of their drives, and they capitalized on most of them, or I think all of them at least. And they did the same this game, but man, that had to be tough. Just you getting those 3 interceptions and 6 points off of it.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be demoralizing, disheartening at the very least. And yeah, I mean this Buccaneers team, to beat them, you've got to put the stake through the heart. Talking about this postseason, you have to capitalize on these opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they haven't blown anybody out. I mean, it took a really diminished Drew Brees performance to get them to this spot. And then before that, I mean, the Redskins were on fire moving into the postseason because Alex Smith and that defense and Chase Young, shoe-in defensive rookie of the year, maybe defensive MVP of the year anyways in his own right. He was that good. But they were still a below 500 Washington football team. I mean, it took everything the Buccaneers had. But that's the thing. The Buccaneers know how to eke out these wins.
Yeah.
I think it's the Tom Brady factor, man. Like, there's just something about having that guy on the sideline that exudes to all the rest of the people on the sideline we are always in it. We are always within striking distance, and I mean, we're going to win this thing. I think that's contagious, honestly.
Yeah, and I really think that Washington one. I think they were looking at that schedule or their record and the Washington team, and I think they were looking ahead, and they almost got caught looking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because they have not looked like the same team that I saw while they were playing the Redskins. You could definitely see that team that they earned their way into the playoffs. The one that faced the Redskins. I mean, you're letting that the ex XFL quarterback, do that to you, and I think that might have kind of woken them up a little bit. Like, holy shit, we need to get our shit together.
Yeah, I mean,
This is the playoffs. This ain't going to be some cakewalk. We actually have to go out there, do our jobs, and do them right, and do them disciplined.
yeah, it certainly seems like it lit a fire. Oh, speaking of plays, I just remembered. I don't even have this one in my notes. And that killer instinct, the strike from Tom Brady to Scotty Miller right before the half, man.
That was
that killer instinct that you have to have. It's like, okay, we've got the ball, and at that point would have been tough to just get 3 points to get out of bounds or whatever. And so then it's like, all right, well, shit, let's send our fastest guy deep and see if we can catch them with their pants down. And sure the hell enough, man. Scotty Miller's a quick one too. He also said that in a foot race, he thinks that he can beat Tyreek Hill. I think he said that either today or yesterday. And I believe Tyreek Hill said, he's a hell of a player. Good for him, like thinking that.
Yeah.
Fast as he is, I don't think he's got Tyreek Hill.
No. It's Hill faster than Ruggs?
And their 40 time, no. I believe Hill is a 4.29 and Ruggs is a 4.27.
Oh, okay.
I'm not positive on that. I would have to look that up. But I think that Ruggs has a faster 40 time. But football speed
is a lot different.
And I don't think that I've ever seen anybody football speed as fast as Tyreek Hill. And I don't even know if it's all that close. The more I watch him, the more I think that dude with pads, cleats, and a football in his arm is as fast or faster than anybody that I've ever watched do it. And it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if he can compete, but DK Metcalf, I know he's fucking fast. That is a huge human being that can fucking move.
His is a whole different kind of speed too, because Tyreek Hill he's scary fast because you don't know if you're going to be able to put a hand on him. DK Metcalf is scary fast because he's moving so fast and you just want to get the hell out of the way. But unfortunately, your job is to go hit him.
Yeah, exactly. It'd definitely be scarier seeing that, especially after that Arizona game where he chased down
Buda Baker.
Yeah,
made it like he was running in quicksand.
That was probably definitely the best NFL meme to come out of this year.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
that when you try and run away from your problems, and then it's like DK Metcalf is your problems.
Also, speaking of the meme factor from that play, the one Lamar Jackson against the Browns where he had to not go take a shit at half or not half in the fourth quarter. And then his own teammate, because Lamar Jackson still denies that he was off the field to take a deuce, but Robert Griffin posts the meme of the Browns lead as Buda Baker, and then Lamar Jackson after he takes a dump as
Oh yeah. Hey, he's just got to take those Browns to the Super Bowl. Because I think I remember when that happened because they were kind of comparing it to that Who was that Celtics guy that went? He went to the locker room in a wheelchair and then came
Oh,
back out and
Paul
played.
Pierce. Yeah,
Paul,
because Lamar Jackson specifically said, "I did not pull a Paul Pierce."
yes, yes. Oh man. Well, um, anything else on this game? Any things you see that Tampa Bay may have trouble with, or anything like that?
Tom Brady cannot throw 3 interceptions against the Chiefs and win. That would be the biggest thing. The receiving core, it looks like also for the Super Bowl, there's going to be a lot of people back. I think Mike Evans is going to be. I mean, he played in this game too, and he played well. Although he had that one that came off of his hands that actually is kind of his fault for one of Tom Brady's picks, actually. But I still don't think that he was 100%. So in a week and a half, I think that he'll be a lot closer to that. Their receiving core is deadly, though. I mean, that's. I don't know what they're going to have problems with, especially with the way that their defense is playing right now. It really was like the Redskins was a wake-up call for them.
Yeah.
But their offense has so many weapons. They're going to be very difficult to stop offensively.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If they, like I said, if they throw 3 picks, they ain't winning.
No.
And if they come out as flat as they did in the second half, they ain't winning either.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And one thing I started actually tallying. I don't know how many they had, but one thing I saw is Tampa Bay had a lot of drops, and I'm not talking like, these. They were balls that should have been caught by an NFL receiver. I mean, I counted 6, so I don't know if there were any more. Now, granted, Leonard Fournette was 2 of them, and I think it was like that first drive. He was 2 of them, but still, it's the NFL. Ball hits you in the hands, you got to catch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even at the running back position these days, I mean, that's what they're looking for now is a back who can do both. I mean, backs that can't catch out of the backfield, that's going to limit your snap count tremendously.
Yep. It
Also,
will.
quick side note, I have I have it on good authority that Najee Harris looks really impressive for the Senior Bowl practice down in Mobile this week. And speaking of a guy who can catch it out of the backfield tremendously.
Yeah. He actually wasn't, it was maybe the year before last. He actually seemed to catch more out of the backfield, especially touchdown wise, than he did rushing. Now I don't know if that was true in the statistics. I just know watching it wise, when Tua was there, he caught it out of the backfield a lot. And he had a lot of good catches.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of their go-to plays was just Najee coming out of the backfield in the red zone. In fact, against Auburn, everybody blames that on Mac Jones. That's Najee Harris's fault. He should have got his head around. That route is designed. You shouldn't really have your eyes off the quarterback once you cross the line of scrimmage, maybe even before that. And it hit him right in the back.
Yeah.
That's the only receiving mistake I've seen. But yeah, speaking of like, that was a huge go-to tool and weapon for not just Sark or just Sark, I guess, but the Alabama offense.
Yeah. When I saw a video of Mac Jones throwing I think it was on Twitter, but Mac Jones was looking good too, throwing some pretty nice balls.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see where he goes and what he does, especially as a Rams fan right now, where our quarterback situation is all the way up in the air, and there's just some growing sentiment that we do not want Jared Goff, but he has a $134 million contract with $100 million of those dollars guaranteed over the next 4 years. So,
yeah,
rock and hard place.
With possibly the salary cap actually coming down.
Yep.
because of the lost revenue from COVID.
Yeah, so I don't really like. I can't see a way that we can get out from underneath this thing.
Well, the highest paid backup in the league.
Well, they just opened up the competition. They said it's going to be an open competition for a fact come training camp between Jared Goff and John Wolford. We don't even know what's going to happen with free agency and the draft and everything. So, yes, we might be looking at a $100 million backup.
Oh, man. Well, all right. Let's move on to this next game. We had the Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs ended up winning 38-24. Honestly, for me, this one was kind of a snoozer. But what were your thoughts on it?
Well, the biggest thing for me is that Patrick Mahomes is the most. I said Aaron Rodgers is the second most talented quarterback I've seen with my own eyes. And I didn't expect to see somebody who could surpass him. And I think Patrick Mahomes has done that. He is that good. I also said on our last show and the show before that I think that the Chiefs are a lot more dangerous than people are giving them credit for, because they quietly did 14-2 this year, and they didn't blow people out like they had previously last year before last, and were really in some really tight games. But when they start clicking, that offense, speed kills. They are it's the most fun offense to watch
It really is.
that I've ever seen. And as a Rams fan, I remember The Greatest Show on Turf, and there's been a lot of really good ones over the years. But I really think that McCole Hardman adds a really fun wrinkle in that he's Tyreek Hill-esque in speed and on the same team. I mean, they're all fast. They are, every single one of the Chiefs are fast. Running backs, wide receivers, they are all so fast. But it's the most fun offense that I can remember having watched.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think they have so many different kind of plays. It's not just over and over, kind of the same plays, same thing, same offense. I mean, they always have not just like one gimmicky play. They usually have like 7 or 8 of them, and they're probably going to use all 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah. I mean, they are not afraid to open up that playbook. I don't know how much of that is Andy Reid and how much is Bieniemy. I hear that Bieniemy is an absolute shining star. The fact that it doesn't look like he's going to get right now, I mean, he's still in the hunt, I think, maybe for Houston, but otherwise, it doesn't look like he's going to get one of these head coaching jobs that came available, is a mystery to me. Because if he's anything like the offense, I mean, if he's 20% a contributor to that offense, then he needs to be a head coach. That offense is fantastic. When they want to open it up and put yards up and points up, they do so fast.
Yep, they
And
do.
like that, very creatively. Like they'll run 90 plays, and all 90 of them will be just absolutely completely different. Maybe same formations and a lot of the same motions, which is what makes them so deadly, but completely different play concepts after the snap.
Yep. So, all right, let's get into the game statistic wise. So, Josh Allen he went 28 for 48 for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mahomes was 29 or that was wrong. I think it's
29 to 38.
20, I put 29 to 28 for some reason on my sheet. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right at all. No,
Three,
it's
and three TDs. The Tutter.
But for me, pretty much from the second quarter on, it the Chiefs controlled the game pretty much the
Yeah,
entire time.
yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right there. The first quarter, the Bills were really in control and really had the Chiefs maybe not reeling, but off balance.
Yeah.
In that second quarter, explosion for 21 points. And then they pretty much ran away and hid with it. I actually think, and then I've watched the game tape on this one a couple of times because in full disclosure to our audience here, I didn't finish that one live. So because like Sean said, I guess it was a snoozer. I was also just not completely right health wise, but yeah, have watched that one a couple of times. Kansas City took that lead and they ran away with it, and this game could have been worse than it was score wise.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you got to think too. One of those touchdowns was a muff punt.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, and that was the first quarter one where it looked like the Bills. Okay, maybe they might have something here. Maybe I'm gonna have egg on my face again, but I didn't for that game.
uh, and you know what? We both said this a couple of times coming into this game. Josh Allen cannot be your leading rusher to a Super Bowl. I mean,
Yep.
it's if it's not completely impossible, it's at least highly improbable.
Yeah.
This game, he had 88 yards. Devin Singletary was the next closest rusher with 17.
Yeah. He had they had 129 yards total, but yeah, he had 88, and the running backs themselves had 41 yards.
Yeah, that's just not a winning formula at this
No.
level. That's a good way to win a lot of regular season games, like they did.
Yeah.
But once you can find a team that can make you more one dimensional, it's like okay. And this isn't exactly what happened to the Ravens because they actually shut Lamar Jackson down somewhat. Whereas,
Yeah.
I mean, Allen was averaging 12.6 yards a carry. That's an incredible average. He was running it effectively, but that's, I mean, it's not really controlling the line of scrimmage, and it's not imposing your will. And I think that's what you have to start to have to be a force in the NFC AFC championship games, and then obviously the Super Bowl moving forward is at least a pretty solid rushing attack.
Yeah, and like you said, it made them one dimensional, and you could tell Kansas City did not respect their run. I mean, they were dropping back pretty much every play. They didn't respect it, and I think that's why Allen actually got as much as he did. I think they went in saying, "Okay, we'll let him get a chunk or two like that and get a couple chunks, but we we're not going to let him win it by passing."
Yeah, yeah,
And
and he didn't have a terrible day passing, but yeah, I mean they definitely took the kill shots away as far as anything super. I mean, Stephon Diggs still had 77 yards. Cole Beasley had 80. But the fact, okay, so that Cole Beasley had 7 catches for 88 yards definitely indicates what kind of game that the Bills were having to play, that Josh was having to go underneath because Cole Beasley, that short to intermediate route guy, and Diggs was he outgained Beasley by 11 yards, only for 77. Still a good game, but for what he has been, Diggs has arguably been the best receiver in the league this year, and then semi-pedestrian for. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. It kind of shows that the Chiefs were like, okay, well, you can't kill us by 1,000 cuts, and we'll prove it to you.
yeah,
Like you can take underneath, and you can take chunk yards here and there with runs from Josh Allen, but we know that your run game is not potent enough, and your underneath game is not potent enough to keep you continuously moving down the field to beat us.
yeah, I definitely agree. Um, thing is, though, flip side of that, Kansas City really didn't have that much rushing either. I mean,
No,
they finished with 114 yards, but 50 of that was on a Hardman run.
yeah.
Uh, so you take that away, I mean, 64 yards from the rest, and that's including Mahomes.
Well, the thing is, their game to me, and this isn't just this game, but their offense runs a lot like, in fact, a lot like Alabama under Sarkisian and Kiffin, to where a lot of their pass plays are almost run plays. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of shovel passes, underneath passes, slants that come right behind the line kind of deal, and it's thrown with such accuracy that you know that it's going. I mean, it's almost like a handoff. Those passes don't get dropped, not hardly at
yeah,
all. So a lot of their offense, although yeah, it's going to be stats in the passing column, their pass plays work like run plays. But I agree with you, though. Yeah, no, I mean, their actual run game was fairly pedestrian, although with Clyde Edwards-Helaire not being 100%, that's another guy for the Super Bowl. Looks like he's going to be much closer to 100%. I will say this Darrell Williams cat, I thought he filled in pretty well. I mean, 13 carries, 52 yards. I mean, that's a 4-yard average, and he ran hard. So yeah, I agree. Not a prolific run game, but it still felt it's kind of a feel thing. It felt more dominant still.
yeah. So, do you think are they saying that Edwards-Helaire will be back? I mean, because I think he was pretty much on a snap count, even in a conference championship, because
Yep.
he only had like 7 yards.
From what I've heard, there's a lot of players looking to get healthy for the Super Bowl. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans getting closer to 100%, and then there was 2 or 3 on the defensive end for both teams, and I can't remember their names unfortunately, and they're big time players. That's a real biff for me.
Alrighty. So yeah, I mean, so what are some things that you think that Kansas City might need to work on, or some things that might hurt them on this game coming up?
Honestly, I did not see a lot of holes in that game personally. They if if they can make Tampa Bay one dimensional, which Tampa Bay's got a better run game, and because the Bills have kind of struggled running the ball, that anything other than Josh Allen all year. Zach Moss has been injured. Singletary's been hurt here and there. They've just been banged up in the backfield. So Tampa Bay obviously has more guns coming into the fight. But if they can lock down that run and play a similar defense, because Tom Brady's not getting those chunk yards with his legs,
Yeah,
that's going to stymie them. And then if the offense can come out and play like they did, I mean, we haven't even mentioned this yet. Tyreek Hill had 9 catches for 172 yards.
wow.
I mean, that's an AFC championship statistic. And then,
Yeah,
so he's the leading receiver, 9 catches, 172. No biggie there. Also, this loser right behind him, Travis Kelce, 13 for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns.
an
I mean,
AFC championship.
Vegas has them at minus 3.5. The only reason I wouldn't put any money on that game is because Tom Brady is the quarterback on the other side. And
Yeah,
I don't see a lot of holes in this Chiefs team right now. Their defense has been shaky here and there, but when it counts, they come to play.
yeah. I I honestly don't really see much. I mean, kind of the same thing with with the Bucks. I mean, they had a couple drop passes that should have been caught, but other than that, I really didn't see much. Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I don't know if I can. I guess we'll can get into the Super Bowl itself. So we got the Bucks versus the Chiefs. First time a team is playing for the Super Bowl at home. So playing in Tampa Bay. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Okay, so for a light preview, I'm just going to recognize for a second some Tom Brady accomplishments. The man is going to his 10th Super Bowl, and he just played in his 15th conference championship game. 10th Super Bowl would be roughly, it's 18% of all Super Bowls that have ever been played. Tom Brady has started in 18% of that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his 10th out of 55 now. And he's going for his 7th ring. I mean, if he wins this, the GOAT argument is locked up, and throw away the key and put that box, down the Mariana Trench for right now. The only person who's really liable to start rattling that box will be the competition that he's playing come a week and a half. Because as far as all the guys in the past, he surpassed them by a lot. He's kind of had also RIP to Hank Aaron. Super sad we lost him very recently, and no one really talks about how consistent he was. I think he only had one season with over 40 home runs, but yet is still widely regarded as the home run king.
Yeah.
And from 74 to whenever Barry Bonds broke that 2007, 8, I don't know, sometime. Yeah. Held that record. It was his consistency and his just consistently being great, and that is Tom Brady plus, basically. I mean, he just shows up and he gets it done. He might have an off game here or there, but that's noteworthy. And then if he has a 350-yard game, no one bats an eyelash at it. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
His level of consistency and his level of excellence. I mean, love him or hate him, you have to respect him.
Yeah. For me, as far as a light preview, I don't know. I'm still debating on, because I have doubted these Bucs 2 weeks in a row. After watching them in the wild card week, I doubted them divisional week. I doubted them in the conference champion week. I just don't know. I mean, I do feel like they match up well, because it's not going to be. It doesn't seem like one of those games where, all right, well, this team has got a great offense, this team's got a great defense. So basically, the game's going to come down to their opposites. Their lesser halves. Both sides of the ball for both teams are, I mean, they're pretty good. And I know it seems like Tampa Bay's defense may be peaking at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, you hold Aaron Rodgers and company to 26 points with 3 picks, I think 4 total turnovers. That's a hell of a performance. That's a hell of a defensive performance. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And then my only thing is, like you said, Buffalo was a one-dimensional team. Everybody talked about it. Everybody knew it. So how well are they going to be able to play when they can't just say, you know what, you're not going to beat us by throwing the ball. You got to beat us by running the ball. They can't really do that in this one. So,
well, you see, I think that they should do I think that they should run a similar game plan as to what they did to Buffalo and try and take away the run and then tell Tom Brady he has to beat him through the air. Now, Tampa Bay has all the weapons in the world. I mean, you've got 3 possible Hall of Famers between Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. And then not to mention the bevy of other really talented receivers beneath them. Plus, let's go Gronkowski. He's a shoe-in Hall of Famer. And then Cameron Brate is also a hell of a tight end. And then the backs can catch it out of the backfield. So, yeah, they're dangerous passing it. But it's not like the Bills had a terrible game through the air, but because they couldn't establish a run game, it just really seemed to take the wind out of their sails. And same thing with the Packers. They couldn't establish any kind of real run game, took the wind out of their sails. So if I was the Chiefs, I would try to do something similar. And then once again, you know that Tom Brady is not going to be able to gash you with his legs because he runs it like
he looks like he's running in molasses.
Yeah, that is tortoise speed.
Yeah,
he's one of the only football players that I think I might have a chance with in a foot race. And now I think that he would beat me.
I was about to say you won't have a chance. I don't think I would have a chance against like Ben Roethlisberger, and you know how fast he is.
Actually, Ben Roethlisberger has some wheels. He looks big and he looks like he's moving slow, but that man eats up yards. He's got a long stride.
It is a long stride. Maybe Fitzpatrick. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That's a scrappy dude too.
That guy looks like he's always looked like he plays like bass for like a band, a garage band that they're in their 40s, but by golly, we're still gonna fucking make it. And you know those type of people I'm talking about.
Oh,
he looks like a bass player.
I really respect him though. I have, for the most part, the vast majority of his career, not really cared. One way, I didn't wish him ill, but I didn't care if he did well or not. But after these last couple of years with the Dolphins, he has really started to win me over. That man plays with – he might not have a ton of physical talent, but he has a shit ton of heart, man.
Yep, he does. I think his only problem is he never had an ounce of consistency.
No. I mean, he can literally go 6 touchdowns one game and then 6 interceptions the next game. I mean, he can go a 6 touchdown to 0 interception game to a 0 touchdown, 6 interception game in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, no, he's. But I do think he got the raw end of the deal this year. Even though being an Alabama fan, he was doing fine for him. I don't know why they immediately just sat him and said, "Hey, you're doing pretty good right now, and we have this new guy who's pretty injury prone. It's his first year, and you're like 1-year contract guy that we can run into the ground, but we're gonna throw the other guy in there."
It really didn't make any sense. They were 3-2 or 3-3 when they made that move, and they were actually building momentum. Mm-hmm. They were getting better with Fitzpatrick, and then to make that move you're still very much in the hunt. After they made the move, they were still very much in the hunt. And then the 2 times they yanked Tua out because he was playing piss poor and then threw Fitzpatrick in, and it actually seemed to spark the offense, was pretty incredible. I mean, it all ended up working out, but it was pretty mind-boggling. But that might be the sign that Brian Flores really has a good handle on his program. Yeah. Because it didn't make any sense, and it felt like Fitzpatrick got the raw end of the deal. But to have Fitzpatrick, who does seem to be a pretty cerebral guy, and even though he was upset.
Yeah, didn't he find out on Twitter or something that like he wasn't the starter? There
was some drama to it. I can't remember exactly what. I know that him and Tua talked, and he still wished Tua all the best, and their relationship was really good. But he felt like it was his team at that point in time when they just yanked him.
Yeah.
But the
And it,
fact that he could rebound from that and then come in and play the way that he did when they asked it of him, like I said, I thought that it was a really goofy move, but Flores so far in 2 years with the Dolphins has my stamp of approval. I think he's a hell of a coach.
yeah. And I think they need to get Devontae Smith and reunite that quarterback wide receiver combo.
I would be awfully intrigued. I'm not a Miami Dolphins fan. I really don't care one way or another about the Dolphins. I would, oh man, I would watch a lot of Dolphins games though if Tua was throwing the ball to Smith again. I was telling a friend earlier that I think that Devontae Smith, and I've slept on him. I thought that Jerry Jeudy, out of the 4 first round draft picks that were all playing on one field in wide receiver position, I thought that Jeudy was the elite talent of the 4. He kind of played the number one, the go to.
Yeah.
But after Devontae Smith this year, I think that he's going to have a Justin Jefferson like impact on the team that he goes to.
Yeah. Um, I think out of the let's say out of the 3 that came in that year, Devontae Smith, Ruggs, and Judy, I think in the long run, Judy will probably have the better career. But I don't think the other ones are going to do bad for themselves either. But I did definitely notice Devontae Smith when he was in there when he came up because I know his freshman year against Mississippi State, he caught the game-winning touchdown pass that game. I mean, he was in a big role that game.
Well, and then when Tua,
and then 2nd and 26.
yeah,
I mean that. But even before that, I mean, like him catching that ball, I was not surprised at all because he had actually started him, Ruggs, and Judy. All 3 of them had started playing a lot and a lot more. So when he caught that pass, I was not surprised at all.
no. Well, and that's the thing. Not a one of the 4 of them between Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Jalen Waddle have an issue with drops. Their hands are all elite level. They will all be first round draft picks that played and started together on the same football team, which once again, that is it. It must be nice to have hats like that, Sean.
I was about to say there's a reason. There definitely is a reason why we got all these. There's definitely a reason.
But I don't know. And I might be a prisoner of the moment saying this, but Devontae Smith was just that good. I really thought that Jeudy was the best out of the 4 of them. But Devontae Smith was that good that I'm willing to say right now, as of January 27th, 2021, I think that he has the best career out of the 4 of them.
All right.
And I think that they're all going to have very, very good careers. They're all talented.
Yeah. I think they all will as well. I think it definitely looks like the NFL is going through another one of those shifts, especially in the receivers. Because it was the running backs. You know, used to you'd have that cowbell running back, and it's more shifted to that Le'Veon Bell, Josh Jacobs, smaller guy, could still run between the tackles, but mainly he can also line up outside as a receiver as well and do just as good. So I think the receivers wise is starting to make a little shift kind of towards these smaller guys like Tyreek Hill. Because Smith's not a big guy. Judy's not a big guy. Neither is Ruggs. I mean, they don't look like these huge Randy Moss Jerry Rice type.
Yeah, no, I mean, after I feel like it was really Terrell Owens, who changed the game, like truly changed the game, because Moss is tall, but he was skinny, and then yeah, Rice is a bigger receiver, but not massive. But then To comes in, and he's 6'3", 6'4", 240, and jacked as shit. You know, he's also fast. And then after he came in, you got that body type at Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones. Uh, he's still playing right now. DK Metcalf kind
Yeah.
of falls more in line with those guys, like just big, towering, hulking dudes who also go up and get the Des Bryant. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. And I hadn't really thought about that, but there does seem to be a bit of a systemic change that guys who can kill you after the catch, like a Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Stephon Diggs isn't that big of a guy, and then yeah, all the receivers coming out of Bama. Those guys, they might. Oh, and they also can take the top off the defense still, but it's not going to be a jump ball. They're just going to be running by themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's where Tyreek Hill is unique, though. Another thing, previewing for the Super Bowl, he plays outside of his body. He goes up in triple coverage and comes down with the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
he goes up against DBs that are bigger than him pretty constantly. He's a fairly small dude, and I don't know. He makes it look simple. He might be my favorite player to watch in the NFL. It would be between him, George Kittle, and Aaron Donald.
No bias on that last one.
No bias at all.
Well, alrighty. I think that's all I got. As far as this kind of light preview, we have talked about possibly doing a watch along with the Super Bowl. So basically, you would get our live reactions to it. We wouldn't be able to show it on there for copyright reasons.
Yeah,
The
just see
the
our-
NFL's got to make their money. So, but we talked about doing that and just doing a watch along, and also we're gonna try to. I need to actually make a note of that. I need to message Phoenix. Next week we're gonna try and do our explain to me like we're five on hockey, and Phoenix Animation is gonna come on and explain to us about hockey and
yeah,
kind of
really
how.
about that. Because first up, I need the explanation. I really do.
Yeah.
And as far as sports that I don't watch, but if I turn them on, I'm always interested. Hockey is probably number one.
Yeah, definitely is. It just looks so much fun. I mean, I used to go and watch the like minor leagues, growing up. We would go watch them. But I mean, being a little kid, you're just mainly watching people hit, getting the hit and things like that.
Well, that's
And
the thing. Hockey on TV is one thing, and it's interesting. Hockey in person is electric. I've been to only 2 local games for our local team, the Birmingham Bulls, and I couldn't talk for 2 days after both of them. I was screaming, and I don't know hockey and am not like a avid Bulls fan, but you get in there and it is electric. And I'm talking with no booze. Both of those I was a minor for, so.
so it'd be even more exciting. But we're gonna try and get that. Like I said, I made the note to contact him and see when he is available next week. But other than that, it's a great episode, and I guess we'll see y'all next time.
See you
Have a
later.
good one.